So, you want to learn bookkeeping. Payroll. By Dave Marshall. Basic payroll. Types of deductions. Payroll deductions. An employee's pay is one area of a business that has no tolerance for errors. Not only must you properly calculate the employee's earnings but also properly calculate all the deductions that apply to your employee's earnings. What many employers may not realize is that federal and state laws may apply to what and how much can be deducted from an employee's pay. For employers that offer and provide a lot of fringe benefits to their employees, many of the deductions from an employee's wages are directly related to the fringe benefits. In many cases, the employer pays a portion of the cost and the employee also is required to pay a portion of the cost. The employee's portion of the cost is normally deducted from their wages. Deductions from pay. Basically, deductions from pay can be classified into three categories: deductions required by law, deductions for the employer's convenience, deductions for the employee's convenience. Required by law. Social Security mandatory contributions to the federal retirement system. The Social Security deduction is calculated as the employee's gross earnings times 6.2%. For 2020, incomes over $137,700 that have already had the maximum Social Security amount of $8,537 withheld will not have any additional Social Security withholdings. Medicare mandatory contributions to the federal medical system. The Medicare deduction is calculated as the employee's gross earnings times 1.45%. Unlike Social Security, there is no annual limit to Medicare deductions. Income tax withholdings pay-as-you-go deductions for income tax. The IRS supplies approved tables, methods, and instructions on calculating how much should be deducted from an employee's pay. State income tax withholdings pay-as-you-go deductions for state income tax. Most but not all states have a state income tax. State taxing authorities supply approved tables, methods, and instructions on calculating how much should be deducted from an employee's pay. Local income tax withholdings pay-as-you-go deductions for local income tax. Some but not all local governments have a local income tax. The local taxing authority supplies approved tables, methods, and instructions on calculating how much should be deducted from an employee's pay. Garnishments and child support deductions to satisfy legal claims of others for unpaid obligations of an employee. Note: special rules and calculations are required in order to determine the amount of the allowable deduction. Tip credits allow an employer, when allowed by federal and state laws, to pay employees in tip-related occupations less than minimum wage. Note: if you're an employer in this type of industry, consult the applicable federal and state labor laws. Employer's convenience. Be careful on deductions that fall within this category. As a general rule, any deductions of this type cannot reduce the employee's gross pay below the minimum wage. Federal and/or state labor laws govern how much, if any, can be deducted from an employee's pay. You may not try to get around the law by having the employee reimburse the employer in cash for the cost of such items in lieu of deducting the cost from the employee's wages. All the following deductions, if authorized by the employee and they don't violate any federal or state laws, are normally an allowable deduction. Overpayments, errors made in calculating employees' wages. Tools required, tools necessary for performing the employee's job. Uniforms, deductions for uniforms required by law or the employer and any related cleaning of the uniforms. Shortages, deductions for cash or other shortages attributable to employees. Breakage, deductions for merchandise damage attributable to improper or careless handling by employees. Medical exam, deductions for employee medical exams required by employer or law. Drug test, deductions for drug test required by law or the employer. Employee theft, deductions for cash or merchandise shortages attributable to employees. Employee's convenience. Insurance, the employee's share of group life and medical and dental insurance. Advances, employee loans. Retirement plan, deductions for the employee's portion of contributions to employer-sponsored retirement plans. Union dues, deductions approved by employees that provide for the payment of the employee's union membership dues. Charity deductions. Employee savings accounts, U.S. bonds.